Some days it just hits me how amazing it is that we all still live together.
And what's really crazy is that we're still in the house we all grew up in. And what are the odds?
Usually when you're still living in your parents' house after 30 years, you'd be considered a bunch of losers.
But we don't pay rent, so we're winners.
So many things have changed in 30 years.
I know. I mean, who would have thought that I would fall in love with Kimmy's brother?
And that I'd be a bridesmaid at Steve's wedding.
Which tie do you like better?
Who cares? No one looking at groom.
It's been 30 years since Uncle Jesse and Joey moved in with us.
Wow.
It's always open!
Hey, look alive! Uncle Jesse's here.
It is so sweet that you guys came up here to celebrate the day we all became a family.
And you're wearing the same outfits.
Actually, I'm the only one wearing the same outfit. These guys got bigger sizes.
How rude. Big news!
Steve and I are getting married in Japan.
Huh? You do know that there's a really nice Benihana right around the corner.
Jackson, are you ready to ace that history final?
I know all the answers. Go ahead. Ask me anything about Hamilton.
How do I get tickets?
It's impossible.
That's correct.
Steve is really getting married.
And not to you, which is fine if you happen to hate fairy tales and happy endings.
Hey, Jesse, I need your help. Pretend you're a cute guy.
Ouch.
You know what I mean. Pretend you're a young guy.
Ouch.
You guys ready to rock?
Are you really wearing that to the airport?
Well, answer her.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Bill.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi, everybody back there. Hi.
I'm Cole Delbick, and I'm here with the cast of Fuller House. Let's give it up.
Yeah.
So I want to start off by congratulating you because this month marks the 30th anniversary of Full House, and the third season of the revival hits Netflix on the same day the show premiered all those years ago. So I want to go around and ask you, what does it feel like to turn the big 3-0?
Well, I remember when I turned 30. It was half of my life ago, and it's a real honor to be part of something that so many people love and have been touched by for so many years. And it was amazing when it happened. We never thought it would last that long at all. And then people really loved it, especially when they moved to Fridays. And then these ladies, these amazing girls that are women, Candace and Jodie and Andrea.
Can I be a part of that group?
And Dave.
Yes.
Dave played Michelle.
I'm in touch with my
Wonderful
feminine
woman.
side.
Yes.
I've seen your feminine side. You need some something spray, Febreze.
By the
But,
way, the show has touched so many people. Who have you touched, Bob?
It's the charges have been
We're off
dropped.
to a start.
It's been a long day.
This happened during
Rock
the
and
act.
stop.
So what
This
we've
is-
done for 30 years.
No, this is literally why we all stayed friends. Because Dave and I and John John's with the Beach Boys right now because he's grown up also.
Hi, Beach Boys.
But we always played around like family, and we always did what a lot of casts don't get to do. We acted like the kids, and now the kids are grown-up women, and we still act like kids. And
But to be able to do this 30 years later and have it, Fuller House be such a success, and to do it with people that we love, and to really have so much fun with it, and create a whole new generation of fans has really been a huge compliment and a huge testament to kind of the show that we created 30 years ago. That there's something that stands the test of time, that 30 years later people will still want to watch these characters.
Now, she did what I didn't do. She answered the question.
Which is why I
Thank
jumped
you.
in
Well
so that
done,
we could get to
Jodie.
the next one.
You know, with all of you in the same room, it feels so special for us. And I'm wondering, has the novel...
Just for everyone, though? I mean, all these
I
people,
think
do
I'm
you think
speaking
it's
for
special?
the crowd, right?
I don't hear
You
any
should see us
reaction.
in the green room. It's not that special.
No, has the novelty worn off, or when you're all together, do you still have that sort of spark? Does it still feel really special when the Tanner extended family is all in the same room?
Oh yeah.
It always does, but we've been friends for 30 years. So when we started Fuller House, it wasn't like we all of a sudden saw each other again for the first time after 20 years. we've remained friends, but the spark is always there because when you love people in your life, you always feel joyful and want to be with them and hang out with them, and that's how we've always felt, and that's what's carried on through the new show.
But it is, I mean, when you put us all in a room together, it's pretty, I mean, we know how silly and ridiculous and, you know, it's like getting all of your crazy family and your cousins together and you've got these ridiculous inside
he's the weird
jokes.
uncle.
Yeah. And like these just silly jokes that nobody gets and everyone else in
Or
the
off
room is
color,
looking
slightly.
completely off color, inappropriate jokes.
completely.
It's
I mean-
completely off color.
I watch my
people's faces.
P's and Q's and F's.
No, you don't. And but
Well-
it's fine. Neither do I. And
But
I
here we
appreciate-
are.
But here we are.
Here
but
we are.
it's you know watching that and like knowing that these are people that I mean we speak in this language that we've you know sort of known for 30 years of ridiculous inside jokes and silliness and laughter.
Dave,
and
make a
love.
sound,
It's
for
great.
example.
So if I start this, if I go, Heath, moneth, me.
Now, Dave, just do an impression of
Wow,
something.
that was beautiful.
That's yeah.
And we don't, and I don't know that any
not
one of
funny
us
to you,
could
but it's
say
funny
like
to
I
us.
don't know what that means or why, and everyone is looking very puzzled
yeah,
right now.
but that's what we do.
Really funny for
But
us.
again, right? It's like the jokes you have with your siblings that other people
Or
like,
people
that's
that you
lame.
actually like, not your siblings necessarily.
Right, a distinction sometimes.
But I mean, like close family that you have known for so long that you just have this unspoken language of ridiculousness.
And people
together.
know that when magic happens, and I'm saying that because it's 30 years later and we're doing the show again, so there is some, pixie dust involved in this thing. It's the stuff between the lines. It's the stuff that's the dialogue. Sure, it's a cute written show. It's got good family values. People can watch it. The world's hurting right now. You get to go and watch this with your kid. We've all had single parents say to us, "You helped me raise my kid," and it's happening with Fuller House. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's the stuff between the lines when when they're looking at each other on the new show. You can see that something happened, not just sentimental stuff, which they do that too, but then something goofy, really weird happened where they can't even get their lines out.
I think right now they're looking at each other like, when is Bob going to stop talking?
No, we all just wait and wonder.
That's what I think's happening.
Okay,
right
I'm
now.
done. I'm not going to talk. Okay, fine.
I'll jump in. You know, so many things have changed.
That reminds me.
I love it. We got a little back and
Change.
forth.
My grandfather liked it because we're a Jewish family. And go ahead, please continue.
No, I was saying so many things have changed. You know, hairstyles, new family members, and I want to know who among the cast do you think has changed the most since the show started, and then the least? It's open to anybody.
I think Jodie's changed the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was 5 when the original show started. I had just turned 5 years old, so I was, really little. And so for me, Candace and Andrea were about 10 when it started. For me, I really don't have a lot of memories in my life before these people were in it and before they played a huge, really important part of my everyday existence.
And I was already a teenager at
Yeah.
the time.
But I was really young. I mean, I was just starting, elementary school, and my whole life has been filled with this family. And now coming back as a 35-year-old woman, it's pretty amazing and it's a huge gift. But Bob and Dave are exactly the same as they were 30 years ago, which is wonderful because we laugh nonstop. And I
Yeah, but look
forward
how
to spending
pretty
time.
these ladies are. Didn't it? I mean, it's incredible, right? Like,
Thanks,
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
you guys are really pretty. Bob and I,
I think I'm attractive in the dark.
You all look great. You all look great.
Lori Laughlin's very beautiful.
Oh my God, Lori's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's ageless. John Stamos, very beautiful woman.
and I'm in love. I'm in love with John.
Yeah.
I think Bob is too.
I am.
Three of us.
We have
Feeling
slept
the love.
together, not for lascivious purposes, but we have just all
You weren't
somehow.
sleeping. You were not.
I was wide
sleeping.
awake.
You were up the whole time.
You know, one thing that hasn't changed is how much the fans love this show and love these characters. And Netflix is pretty opaque when it comes to their viewership numbers. But it's rumored that Fuller House is one of the most watched programs on the streaming service and in traditional TV. Have you guys heard this? And how
Well,
does
we
it
spread
feel?
that rumor.
It came from Bob.
Yes, we started it.
And how does it feel to know that it's resonating so much still after all this time?
I mean, that's crazy to think that it's that successful.
Yeah, that's kudos to our fans.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thought it was going to
It's
be
all
small
our
wonder.
fans.
And to say also, when we went and shot an episode in Japan, I mean, we have fans in Japan and Argentina and Brazil and Germany and like all over the world that watch this show. So, it's not just here in the U.S., it's all over the world. And that, I mean, for me, like that was, I think, the most mind-blowing thing was to go to another country that I had never been to, and all of these people are crying and talking about what an impact Full House has made on their lives.
That's
And
also 'cause
that's
they're-
pretty
yeah.
amazing. I'm like, wow, it's.
Well, some of those countries are having problems with weather and stuff. They're not crying over Full House, Fuller House.
It's okay. I like to think that they're
That's
crying
okay.
over
I'm
me.
attributing
There's
it to
one
Fuller.
guy in Estonia that can't stand the show.
Yeah, we've heard on Twitter.
Fuller House brutal, don't like it, especially Gladstone. Pew.
That's
Well,
Val.
Oh, he's the guy who doesn't like it?
his prize
Twitter
goes.
handle.
His prize goes.
What impression made me
Forget it.
reminds me of-
You know, Jodie, I've actually
I give up on trying to get a joke in. I've given up on jokes.
Given up.
She said that was Val.
Oh, that was?
No, not actually.
Oh, reminded you of Val.
I've
Her husband is Valerie Bure, great
Right.
hockey player and
Russian.
winery.
That's yes. Anyway.
Yeah, he's right.
Next
yeah,
question.
I've heard that you haven't actually
We have to go to
watched
commercial.
a full episode of the show.
Me?
Yeah. So I want to know if a show of hands, who watches the show actively, watches at home.
You want a show of hands of that?
Yes.
Actively watch. I don't really
I've
watch
seen
too much.
2 of them.
Only 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
How rude.
I don't. I'm
What's
just
wrong with
like
you people?
I'm always weird. Even when the show was on originally, I was like, I don't need to watch myself.
Have
I
you
get
seen
really
every one?
I haven't
You've
seen
not.
any of them.
I'm really uncomfortable
I mean,
watching myself.
And in their
A lot of
I'm
people say that
uncomfortable
about
watching you too.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable
They're
watching
uncomfortable watching me watch myself?
you. Yes.
Oh,
You've
okay.
seen every episode, right?
Yes, many times.
I've seen many of them. I haven't seen all of them.
It was
Yeah.
fun. I was live Instagramming watching one of the shows because I don't watch it regularly, but if it's on and I'm passing through the channels, I'll stop and watch the episode, and it's pretty fun to watch them.
I'm going to have a Full House marathon someday when I'm just hooked up to machines. That's how I'll laugh.
What is that? A parakeet?
That would be my laugh.
Robot parakeet? What
That's
is
my
that?
laugh, yeah.
It's a good way
Andrea,
to go,
do you
I
watch
think.
the
When I'm
show?
hooked up to machines, that's all.
Andrea hasn't talked
what
at
about
all.
Joey and I.
Let's talk to Andrea.
Get it,
Get
I'm
a
at-
word in.
No, you talk.
I still watch the show if it's on, or if I'm sick in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, it's always on at like 2 a.m.
I also just don't have regular television, so it's never like I'm flipping through channels to see it. But my
you have-
kids like it.
But you have
They love it.
Netflix.
But Full House is not on Netflix.
Oh, we don't talk about
we don't
that.
talk about that.
I actually read the old scripts. I just stay up late at night reading the old scripts.
With with wigs and costumes, and you reenact the entire show.
I actually dress as a rabbi and I read it left to right.
Something I've loved about the revival is how it's sort of like a more serialized storytelling, and we're even digging deeper into these characters, and there's some more emotional moments with DJ finding love after her husband died, and Stephanie's infertility issues. And I'm curious, has it been really refreshing to dig deeper into these characters that you met so long ago?
Please don't say deeper and fertility issues in the same question.
I'm sorry, poor word choice.
Yes. I mean, I think, it has been for us. And rarely do you get to portray a character at a particular age in your life when you're really young, and then come back and sort of get to fill in all of the story in between. Usually you start kind of at one point in somebody's life and have to create that backstory, but knowing who these characters were and who this family was and all of that in the beginning, and then being able to kind of fill in those spaces in between and really play with a lot of the stuff that the writers have given us and that we've gotten to help create, a lot of the storylines has been a lot of fun, because you don't often get to do that on a sitcom. Like you said, it's typically, 28 minutes and you tell the story and you're done, but being able to continue some of these storylines and really serialize them has been, I think, a lot of fun for us.
And there's no commercials. I mean, the whole idea of Netflix is you can watch the whole thing if you want and find out in the new season. You get the first 9 on Friday, September 22nd, and you get to find out if DJ wants Matt or Steve, I think. I think we get...
Well, I'm with Matt. We found out at the end of season 2.
Oh, so as we start, you're with
I'm with
Matt.
Matt.
Okay,
You
so
might
I don't
have
know
some
anything
unresolved
else. I'm
feelings
just...
for Steve.
Did I sign anything? Am I in trouble?
No, you're doing
At the very end
I don't think they're going to fire you
At
at
the
this
very
point.
end of
I'm
the
with
second 9, she falls in love with a man she meets in Japan. And
Spoiler.
His
Yeah.
name's Harry Takayama.
Ooh, we can't wait. Yes.
How dare you
House
take
fan
my
out
man?
there? I know.
He's already married, so
to you, I know.
back off.
I know.
and they overeat on sushi, and then Danny flies there and brings them Imodium.
On the cutting room floor, I imagine, right?
It gets very quiet in here when I speak.
Wait, so Bob and Dave, how many episodes can we expect to see you for this season? I know you
70.
pop in now and then.
I've been cut out of 15.
So I'll end up in 3.
But Dave directed an episode this
Wow.
season and also directed one last season, and he's been a wonderful, wonderful director.
And you
We love
don't,
having
He's
him.
and you
so
don't know how my
serious
brain
when he
works like
directs.
that.
Yeah.
What is it like to step behind the camera?
It's
It's a different side of Dave, which I've seen that side of Dave because he's also a pilot. And so when
Right.
he flies, he gets very serious. So it was the same person when he came in as the director. He was not joking around on the side, and Dave's like one nonstop joke. So he like puts on the serious hat, and
It's a
and
little
his-
disturbing though. It's kind of like, are you in there? Are you?
Right.
Where are you? Where'd you go?
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
But
looking
he's
deep
so
in his eyes, like,
professional.
blink if you're still in there, please.
And then when he came back as an actor for like the next episode,
It was like he was 3
paid
times
no
worse.
attention. And I'm like, you just directed, and
Right.
we're so professional.
And now you're
What
Joey again.
happened?
Right. And I
love
think
that.
you actually were worse that episode that like
I
you had
think
directed
so.
and then came back and you were like, I've got to let it out.
Yeah, you had too much serious
Well, if you
in
know
you.
me, I'm always trying to let it out.
Dave has a problem.
Yeah.
He's always had a problem. Give him an example what that is.
You want to hear an impression?
No, yeah.
Name a celebrity. I'll just do
Name a celebrity. It's your show.
Any
Anybody?
celebrity.
Okay,
Kermit the Frog. Okay,
Kermit
this
the Frog.
is Kermit the Frog. Of course, he doesn't wear pants because he's a frog. So this is him with wind. Here's his wind.
Now, the room
The
is
second
quiet.
part was a fly.
This has been 30 years.
So.
It breaks into
30
applause.
years. We're breaking new wind.
What's Donald Trump sound like? Come on.
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Wow, a piece of metal just broke.
Well, his
You
fart
say the
actually
name
flew
and there's
that
a
way.
chain reaction.
Someone actually just passed out back there.
Subway just stopped.
Very impressive. You know,
Yeah, that's lovely when you lie to us.
seeing the the new
This is live. You can edit this in post,
no,
right?
all live.
Yeah, totally.
The new generation of the kids on Fuller House, I love so much. I'm curious, what is it like to watch them sort of go through that same journey of being a child actor, growing up in the spotlight? Do you give them pieces of advice? Like, how, are you feeling very motherly, I imagine, towards them on set?
Yeah, I think we give them more advice as moms than as actors. They're all great actors. We love the kids that are on the show, and they do their job very, very well. So they don't need that many acting tips from us. But I think there's a lot of value in the fact that we experience that, and so we have probably more compassion and understanding than a lot of the other of people on set or people that haven't worked with kids, because we went through that, juggling school full-time and then your work schedule full-time. It's a lot. But
It's also a lot of like, put your phone away. What? Don't chew gum in the scene. And they're like, but you have gum in your phone. We're like, I know, but I am an adult.
And
so
we earned it.
I can do this.
You can't yet.
Right. Yeah.
And don't go near Bob and Dave.
All I know is the first time I met Michael Campion, who's a really good guy and plays the oldest son.
Jackson.
Jackson. As I met him, he had a drone he was playing with, and I stepped on it. I didn't know what it was. The next thing I knew, I'm giving the kid $100. I went, this kid is going to be a successful actor. He swindled me out of $100 for a drone that must have been worth $50.
Bob, I'm curious, did you sort of play that role in the original series, kind of mentoring these young actors and, you know, between the jokes?
If you've ever seen me work, you know I shouldn't mentor anybody. You know what? It was just like they were our kids, you know, so we were very protective, and we were together for a long time, and we went through a lot together. You know, when you do 192 episodes of any show, you're together with the people you work with a lot more than your own family. So you become a family. Either you do become a family, or it's going to be very difficult to work together.
And then Dave and I got divorced appropriately.
Yeah.
From each other.
But we became a family. So with that being that close, you know, we were very protective of the kids, you know, of the girls, and I think still that way. I think I still feel that way.
It is that way,
like
and
we're family, and
it was back in the day, even with Mary-Kate and Ashley acting and not always wanting to do it, because it's difficult to get little kids that don't know eating gummy bears and stuff. And I got them fruit mix, and they ended up, you know, with loose bowels. But the thing that good to have me at this interview, isn't it? But the truth of it is, my family mirrored. I have 3 daughters, and my oldest was 1 when the show started. And I didn't know I was going to have 3 daughters. And it's kind of amazing. And I did get practice because she was 9 and she was 5. And
I used to come spend weekends at your house.
You stayed over my
with,
home.
with his kids. I was really close with his daughters growing up, and there's like, pictures and videos of us like eating pancakes in the morning, sitting in bed with all the kids watching TV and like
Well, my kids
watching
love
cartoons.
all of it.
And
it is a family thing. There is true love here, which doesn't really happen. I don't think. I was telling a story earlier that Tony Danza saw us all in a restaurant, and this is like 10 years after the series ended. So this is, do the math, it's 20 years ago, 15, I don't know when it was. And Tony Danza sees all of us come into this Greek restaurant, and then he goes, "Why are you all together?" And I was like, "What, the cast of Who's the Boss doesn't go to dinner?" But we love each other.
And you 3 have really upheld this legacy, and I love that you call each other she-wolves on social media, and it's so clear the support and love that is shared between you. I'm wondering, what is it like as 3 women to bring Full House into this next generation, with kids of your own? Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think.
Got off.
Andrea.
Easy, Andrea. Come on.
I've jumped. You know me. I'll keep talking like Bob. I keep going and talking. You good?
It's great.
It's been a long day. No, I think one of the really fun things that we get to do this time around is tell sort of the female perspective of stories as women and as mothers, and being moms all ourselves and having these different parenting styles and different relationships and things like that. We get to bring a lot of those real life stories and things that have happened to us to these characters and to this show, and sort of create this reality for the characters. And I think it's been really fun, and getting to support each other and really have that bond. I think that's incredibly evident on the show. That we have little matching she-wolf rings that I didn't bring, but she has hers on. This awesome company made us little she-wolf rings, and we have them that we wear, and but that's like in our real life. We are that close, so we bring that to these characters.
And this was by design. This was 10 years in the making. John Stamos would always say, "I'm not Uncle Jesse," and next thing you know, "Hey, look alive," And John and Jeff Franklin and Bob Boyette and Tom Miller, who made the show in the very beginning, John really shepherded it, and Jeff really did, and choosing and having the concept and the foresight to make these 3 ladies with great acting chops, great comedic chops. Just really, chops, like meat you would buy, like pork chops. And no, you all know what chops mean, right?
We know what chops mean.
You guys are here, right? Let people know at home that you're here. Do something. Clap, snap your fingers. Do something. All right. But they're incredibly talented at comedy and the acting. They put their whole heart into it. So.
Before we go to questions, you mentioned the Olsen twins earlier, and I know they haven't appeared on the show, but given that it's the 30th anniversary, do you think you've got a text, a carrier pigeon, a guest appearance? Have you heard from them at all about surrounding the anniversary?
No.
Well, they have their life. They don't want to act pretty much, and they have their life. I think the surprise is that they're probably not here, but they have love for everybody, and it is what it is. People go on and do what they want with their lives. John Stamos isn't here because he's singing Kokomo with the Beach Boys.
Understandably. Okay, we have some questions from the audience now.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here today. I was just wondering how much of the season is actually going to be set in Japan? Is it just one episode or a few? And what was that experience like for each of you?
It's just one episode.
One long episode.
Yes, the longest Full House episode ever.
It is. It's a long one. It probably could have been 2, but it's just one. And what was the rest? The experience. The experience was unbelievable. We'd been to Tokyo a few times with the show, and the fans love it there. And that was the big reason why we went and shot there. And we had an incredible time, and it was a very nice balance of a lot of hard work. It was kind of a crazy, nutty schedule, but we had a lot of fun and playtime as well.
I think we were there, 12 days or something?
We were there
shooting,
just about
and
2 weeks.
We had, it was amazing. We had, when we get to travel and as a group, we just have the best time. Yeah. It's like this weird, crazy family vacation, and we, go and do a lot of fun stuff.
Any trip highlights that you can remember? Andrea, you about to say something?
Well, yeah, I was going to say we worked with a Japanese crew when we were over there, and that was really different because we had a translator. So our director would call out the camera directions, and then the translator would translate it into Japanese. And our Japanese crew was some of the hardest working people
They were amazing.
I've ever met.
They were awesome.
Awesome.
They rocked it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for that episode. Okay, another question. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So awesome to see everyone here.
Thank you.
Been watching you since I was young, 35 as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So this question is for Candace, Andrea, and Jodie. How has the experience been playing adults in Fuller House as opposed to kids in Full House?
I think we're all in agreement that it's much better as adults because we're not doing school at the same time. We get to relax on our 5-minute breaks here and there. But I think it's been an incredible opportunity. I think we love leading the show this time around. It's like you put in a lot of hard work as a kid when you're doing something like that, but then to see it come full circle and let us take the reins and lead this, we're all very happy to be in this position. And I think it's safe to say we have one of the most loving and hardworking sets, and we know our crew loves being there, and that's what's most important to us three as we set the tone for the show. So we want to make sure everyone loves coming to work every day.
Thank you. We have another question right here.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hey.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I was just wondering, when Full House wrapped, did you have any idea, like thinking where your characters would want to go and where do you want to see them go? And are you happy with where they are now?
I don't think that, I mean, I think once the show wrapped, you know, or originally 20 some odd years ago, I don't know that any of us really gave thought to like, oh, I wonder what's happened, or I wonder, you know, until we realized we were coming back.
I was going to become a realtor, and it was going to be called Open House.
Oh, I like that.
Well then, really? No?
I was going to be a male dancer.
I guess I'm the only one that hasn't been sitting around thinking about this. No.
Well, actually, we
And
had
then
an
Bob, you could have
option.
called it Full Blouse.
Actually, I was thinking
Oh,
of...
why not?
No, we had an offer to go to the CW before it became the WB. Or was it the WB?
It was WB before it
was
became
WB,
CW.
and it just didn't seem right, and it didn't happen because it was like, well, we failed on ABC. We didn't realize it's a different climate now. You wind up online, and you're a hit. So we just didn't do it. It felt like it had run its course at that time. And the way that it's come back is a miracle. And it really is, it's a crazy honor. I mean, everywhere you look, there's a hand to hold on to.
But I think
Nice.
that, I mean, we've had a lot of input with where the characters have wound up and kind of their storylines and what's been going on with them. Jeff Franklin's been great, particularly with the three of us about kind of figuring out what we wanted to do and where these characters are going. So, I mean, I'm really happy. I think we've had a lot of fun creating who these women are.
And I think people need it. I really do. I mean, even in the comedy that I do that has nothing to do with this character, it takes people's minds off of the stuff that is so difficult for everybody right now. And this show has values, and it has family values. You can watch it with your kids. You can watch it with your parents. You can even watch it with your dad now because it's got some hip stuff thrown in there. It's like, wow, how'd they get away with that? You know? So don't you think it has some adult themes now? I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like seriously,
Let's go.
adult.
We sneak some things in there, a little bit more subversive adult humor. You know, I think.
I mean, the premise of your character, I mean, trying to have a baby and stuff, that's...
Yeah, well, that's you know
adult.
where babies come from, right, Bob? We've had, okay.
I saw pictures.
Okay.
We won't cover it here. Maybe after. We have one more question.
Yes, hi. I'm excited to see you guys. I've seen every episode of Full House as a kid, and now with my kids, every episode of Fuller House.
Oh, great.
At least 3 times, so I'm excited. My question is, have you seen the show with your kids, and do they think it's cool that you guys are a part of the cast, or they're like embarrassed about it? How do they feel about it?
My kids, I have 3 teenagers and almost out of teen years. My oldest is 19, but they all watched it a bit when they were growing up, but my kids were not huge TV watchers, and they thought it was fine and cool. And as my daughter's gotten older, she thinks she actually likes the clothing style now. She would make fun of me for a while in my hair, but now the 90s are back. You know, if you go into Forever 21, they're DJ Tanner clothes. Like, that's it. So now, like, it's pretty cool. But my boys watch it, and they appreciate what I do, but they kind of don't care. Yeah. Like, just because I'm their mom, and I just say no a lot. Yeah. And don't give them everything they want.
My kids are like right target audience for this show. My kids are my 2 daughters are 9 and 7, so they're like super excited that mom is on TV. They think it's really
story.
Okay,
It's
there
so
was this
cute.
so I was in Trader Joe's the other day with my 7-year-old, and you know we're going down the aisle, and she's like, "Mom," she's like, "Come here, I need to whisper something." I'm like, "What?" So I lean down. She's like, "Why isn't everyone freaking out that you're in here?" And I said, "Why?" And she said, because you're super famous. Everyone would be so excited. And I was like, baby, it's not a big deal. It's not okay. She's like, but you're really famous. Like, everyone knows your show. I was like, no, not really. She's like, well, all my friends know your show. I think you're really famous.
So cute.
It was just
Love
really
it.
cute. Like, they're really excited, and, all their little friends know and stuff.
Did you give her like $20 when she did that?
I did.
That's a good one. Do it at the next store,
right.
too.
And I said next time louder so that everyone noticed. No.
My daughter's 10, and she thinks the show is really cool. And Felicity is her name, and she and Jodie's daughter were on an episode last season, season 2. They played Max's classmates in the backyard episode where they're doing presentations. So she thinks it's great. She'll tell the Target cashier, "My mom's on TV."
Yeah, my kids. Yeah,
but my 13-year-old son doesn't think it's so cool because his parents just aren't cool anyways. And then when your mom is Kimmy Gibbler, that's really not cool in the junior high crowd. But I'll catch him binge watching the show in his room, like on the sly. He's a closeted fan of Fuller House.
Well, thank goodness that's what you're catching him doing. What? You can't.
Come on.
Well, you could be watching something else, a different show. Jeez, get out of the gutter.
Well, that
I don't understand what you meant by that. Would you explain that in a more lengthy way?
You guys all went there.
Well, unfortunately, I have to let you guys go.
And
but
with that,
we don't want to leave.
The audience is so happy.
We just started to bond with the audience. It took a whole half hour.
I'm sorry. But everyone make sure to binge watch Fuller House September 22nd on Netflix. Let's give it up.
The first nine, and then the next 9.
Then the next
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.